welcome back. Am I loud enough? I think I'm loud enough. Okay. Today on Stephanie's Rock Show, I'm going to talk about real estate. You guys know me as rock journalist interviewing rock stars and whatnot, but unfortunately, I have not become Howard Stern, and that cannot pay all the bills. So I wanted to educate you guys on how I have paid most of the bills besides bartending and Steph's Rock Show is house flipping, real estate. Real estate can be tricky, especially because I live in California and it's not easy. And I'll be completely raw. It's becoming harder and harder for someone to get in on the market like I did in 2014. It's now 2024, 10 years later. And, there's rumors going around that a lot of millennials can't afford homes. The next generation may not be able to buy a house without it being, just handed down or gifted from their parents. So I hope that's not the case. And there's still people to come up with, what happened with what I did with such little amount of money. Okay, so backtrack. So I joke to everyone, when you want to start with your first house and you want to start house flipping, treat it like dating. You want something great and grand, but set the bar low. So that way you can actually jump in. And so set your expectations and your bar low. You guys are ready to be grossed out. So my very first house that I made the most money on and that started the flipping in 2014, the bones were good. I want to say the structure of the house was great. The community was beautiful. It was right by a golf course. But unfortunately, this family got foreclosed on. The house was in foreclosure. So, those of you that don't know that, it's when you have a mortgage, you're in a house, you are unable to pay the mortgage. So, the bank, forces you out. And the bank at that point just wanted the remainder of the mortgage paid off and they wanted their hands clean. Well, I look at this, house online and I go, something's wrong. It's up for $180,000 and it's a gorgeous 4-bedroom, 3-bath house that was built 5 years prior. What's going on, Of course, I call a realtor. I go through the house. It is disgusting. I still cannot believe, looking back now that I'm older and I'm a little bit more cleaner. I think it's because I was coming from LA, the, concrete jungle, and just a dirty, grimy tour bus Hollywood lifestyle that, like, at that time I was like, I'm going to roll my sleeves up. Let's do this. Okay. So I get in the house. The realtor tried. She was really sweet and put those like Glade plugins everywhere and a lot of fresheners. But you cannot hide the stench of animal urine. I didn't know if it was one animal or not. I find out, after I'm crazy and I bought this house. So mind you, it was sold originally for $450,000. I got it for $180 a couple years later. But the baseboards were swollen with pee. And so I thought that was the main concern. They had kept animals, or they had lots of cats and dogs. I hear from the neighbors later. Underneath the stairs, like, just locked them in there. So that was a huge issue to clean. I bought so much cleaning supplies. It was intense. I had to take off the baseboards, cut them, put them back on, repainted the house with urine marks on all the corners, redo the carpet. They had taken the ceiling fans down. When you're foreclosed, you get upset. So that's not rare, They had unplugged the dishwasher and thrown it and broke it. Just all kinds of upset at the house. So I had some little, roll my sleeve up things to do. But then it gets worse. So once I get onto the kitchen and I start deep cleaning the kitchen, I go above, the cupboards, like the chicken. Sorry, I guess I'm thinking of cooking chicken later in the kitchen. Above the kitchen baseboards, there is bird shit. There is just bird shit everywhere. Like, once I start cleaning above the lamps and lights and all the fans that, were still intact and the structures. So I then find out they had cats, dogs, and birds just running around this beautiful, close to $500,000 house by a golf course. God bless them for gambling and not paying for it. And then I don't know why I'm so crazy. And I'm just like, let's do this. But I did it. And I'm grateful now that I did it. Obviously, I didn't have children at the time. So my baby was that house and making it livable and not feeling so disgusted. So I did. I rocked and rolled for months. I don't know exactly how long, but definitely months. And I turned that house into, you could not tell that people had had animals and were not taking proper care of their animals. Poor animal. It's not the animal's fault. I just don't like bad animal owners. I have a cat and a dog, and they both go outside and we go on walks together, and they're amazing. But anyways, so side note too. So if you want to do one at a time and you're like me and you're not this, bank that can own 4 or 5 properties at once, so you don't get hindered in taxes, you want to live in the house for 2 years. In California, at least, you need to live in the house for 24 months. So after that, and then watch the market. It's the hardest thing. You can be ready to buy, right? But it's all about timing. Watch the stock market, watch the housing market, see the correlation, see if it's on the up or it's on the down. Really in California, we've had a couple dips, but I'm going to say minor dips too. It's really just been on the rise. So much so that I don't have a flip right now. I have, my 4th house, but I think I'm going to stick tight because this market is wild and it's just getting so out of control, overpriced. And I'm even in Northern California, in Sacramento. It's not San Francisco and Los Angeles and Orange County that those markets, you can get like a little shack for $1 million that's falling apart. But location, 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 right? And by the way, I'm not a realtor. I want to have my friend on later that is a realtor. So I move in the house, I spruce it up, just do minor, little work to it. Maybe give it a microwave and a new fan and a new door and new paint. Paint can really go a long ways. And I just make it look cute. And then I sit on it until I think the market's doing a little bit better or that I may be able to sell it for 50 to 100 more. And then I put it on the market with the help of a realtor. So just letting you know. I've looked into real estate and being a realtor, but I'm going to say from my point of view, watching my friends, it's a lot of work and it's inconsistent rewards. And I don't like that. I like to go, here is what I'm working on. Give me money back. Why I love bartending is the tips I go home with that night. I'm also impatient. If you guys don't know that, I'm an Aries and I'm impatient. It's my negative quality. So I like to go to work, come home with money, get more money later, but know exactly how much money I'm going to get from work. And I love people. You guys know, I love people. I love hearing your stories. I especially love an old guy that was in wars, that's a veteran that wants to talk for days. I'm all on board. Like I just, that's why I miss radio and why I'm starting this podcast too. I love everybody and talking and hearing your life story and giving advice, getting advice, everything. So anyways, back to the flips. And so timing. So I sell that house 2 years later. Then that brings me to West Sacramento. And I got my second flip next to the Nugget Market. That shout out to the Nugget Market. If there's somewhere I spend too much money, but I love healthy food and feeling good about like what I put in my mouth and my body, Nugget. I love Nugget. So yeah, I bought my second flip. At this point, at the cash sale of my first flip. So same thing. It's just like I got lucky with timing, and Sacramento market's always been steadily rising. And I held on to that one for 5 years until I got my third house, which ended up being kind of a train wreck. Like you always have good intentions with a flip. It was a giant house, the biggest house I've ever, almost 3,000 square feet. I'm thinking, oh, there's going to be great parties. This is going to be awesome. I'm going to host a lot of people. Built a bar in the garage. Well, COVID hit, and that put a damper on why I wanted such a large house and why I thought I did. You don't realize, I like to clean myself. God bless maids. That's amazing. But that's just more to clean, more to take care of, more to go wrong. And then there's that term house poor, to where you may have this beautiful grand house, but all of your finances are going into the house. So you can't vacation and like have fun. I realized that's not for me. I could be one of those tiny home people. I love watching tiny homes. I like watching the van life couples or just girls by themselves with their dogs. That is my jam. I drive by myself to Montana and Texas, which is 20 hours and 22 hours. And I love the road. I love music and whatnot. So, I think less is more. Obviously, I want a house right now with spare bedrooms because I have two kids, and I have animals. And so I want to be able to make sure my kids always have a comfortable way of living. But when I'm on my own one day, I could totally see myself doing a tiny home. And just, I like being outside. So just doing the 5 o'clock somewhere, making my cocktail outside my tiny home. I'm down. I'm into that. So yeah, so then I flipped the second house, got to the third. That was really large. Well, the third didn't go as planned. The third was my first, like, oh, it can go wrong. I put it on the market when it was hot. Nobody wanted it because now I'm in a different category. Not only is it post COVID, so I just feel like economically and financially, a lot of people didn't bounce back. And if the bars did, though, I will say, if you worked in the wine business or the bar business, we did fine during COVID. That's when shit's going wrong and shit's going right. Alcohol business is doing good. So it's always good to have a second job or a part-time job while you're trying to house flip, because house flipping is hot and cold and you're not doing it all the time. So that one sat on the market for 6 months. I was not getting buyers. I tried to go in bed. That means you're like in contract to maybe close, and then a couple people bounced out. Finally, I sold it. But by the time I sold it, I lost a lot of money paying for two houses because I then moved into my fourth. And then so I'm paying for two houses for 6 months, and had to do some minor repairs to the old house, had to do some minor repairs to the new house. So that flip did not go as planned. And I am definitely going to take a break. Like I'm really blessed. It's been fun, but I'm going to take a couple year break from house flipping because that was pretty stressful last year, and focus on bartending and podcasting. But if anybody wants even more detailed information about house flipping or real estate or what I've done, feel free to email me, Bowie and Hendricks Mom at Gmail, or DM me on Instagram. I'm very active on the at Steph's Rock Show, Spotify, Steph's World. I answer all the things. And like I said, we will have my girlfriend on later, and she does real estate. So she knows the ins and outs of contracts and real estate. And there's so much more awesome information she should give. So thanks for tuning in to a little bit of my background on house flipping. And I look forward to more podcasts with you.